So I want to buy a lake house in northern New Jersey. What should I do?
So that's a super interesting question. At least it's a super interesting question to me because what I like to do is know all about all the lakes in northern New Jersey. So there's a couple of big lakes in northern New Jersey that you may have heard of. You've got Greenwood Lake, which is a big lake that spans New Jersey into New York, and this is at the top of Passaic County. And then there's another really big lake in it's Morris County and then a little bit of Sussex County, which is Lake Hopatcong. And Lake Hopatcong is the biggest lake in New Jersey. And these are two lakes you've probably heard of. These are public lakes. There's restaurants on these lakes. There's marinas on the lake. You don't have to have a house on the lake to be able to enjoy these lakes. So there's a lot going on. They're big, they're fast paced, there's a lot of activities, there's a lot of really great history. So with both Greenwood Lake and Lake Hopatcong, there's just a lot of going on. And it's like just big and bold. So you picture fast boats, big sailboats, jet skis, water skiing. So these are all really fantastic lake activities. But it's a really good idea to sit down and say to yourself, what do I want my lake activities to look like? Why are you interested in getting a lake house? Are you interested in getting a lake house to spend some time fishing or to spend time hiking or to have friends and family come around? So maybe the big lakes in New Jersey aren't exactly, the right thing for you. There's another lake in Sparta called Lake Mohawk. Lake Mohawk is another big lake. They do water ski in Lake Mohawk. There's the Lake Mohawk Country Club. It's an absolutely fantastic lake, but it's not quite as big as either Lake Hopatcong or Greenwood Lake. So that opens up a whole lot of possibilities. I think it's really important to figure out what you want to do at your lake house and then visit the lake properties and see what community fits your needs the best. In West Milford, New Jersey, which is at the top of Passaic County, it's where Greenwood Lake is, there are a lot of smaller lake communities, ranging from communities that have just a handful of houses around them to, some that are a little bit bigger. And then they're a little bit more intimate. You're going to know your neighbors a lot more. There's clubhouses, and then they have beaches. There's activities at the clubhouse. Volleyball is a really big sport, which is so much fun. Pickleball, I'm sure you've heard of pickleball, has taken over at the lake communities. The tennis courts, a lot of them have been modified into pickleball courts. So there is a lake in Bloomingdale, New Jersey, that they have the tennis courts that are still there, but now pickleball is probably one of the bigger sports at the lake. The biggest sport used to be sailing, and the sailing club is still nice and active. But I think there's always a pickleball game going on now, and the sailing is on Sunday mornings. So, what do you want to do at your lake house and then match yourself up with the lake? I'm Jennifer Ellis. I'm a real estate broker. I specialize in lake communities in northern New Jersey. I've lived at the lake full time. I think it's going to be 24 years this year, and my family's had a lake house since the 60s. So I've made it's, I guess I'll call it my hobby or my career, is to learn all about the lakes in northern New Jersey. And I would love to help you find the lake that fits your needs the best. One thing about a lot of the lakes is that they're very close knit and they're very private. And this is one of those things that is such a benefit to the people that live in these communities. The speed limits are really low. Everybody knows everyone else. People's cars and boats are identified by stickers. To get into any of the clubhouses or the beaches, there's badges that are required. And what this does is it really gives like a small town feel, like a community that your people. So some of these smaller lakes are going to have a very different vibe than Greenwood Lake or Lake Hopatcong. Greenwood Lake has neighborhoods that are within it. So you've got the big Greenwood Lake, but then there's certain sections that then they have the clubhouse and the beach and the swim team and the pavilion. There is actually little swim camps that are dotted all over northern New Jersey. And these camps, they have swim teams and they swim against each other. And they have cute little fundraisers like pancake breakfasts. And at the swim meets, the families make different food and sell them at the swim meets. And everyone knows each other, and it's just a really, really nice, old-fashioned, fun vibe. So you really want to see what are you looking for, and then go and find your lake. If you really are into going super fast and you want a big boat and you want a lot of activity, the big lakes that you've heard of might be the right lake for you. But if you're really more into kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, and just taking it easy, it being nice and quiet, being able to sit on your dock and just, watch nature go by, some of the smaller lakes really might be a better fit for you. There's private communities that the water is absolutely crystal clear. There's environmental committees in each one of the lakes that monitor the water quality. They have professional teams come in because the quality of the water is so important that without the lakes, everybody's real estate and everybody's, their lives are around the lake communities. So you want a community that is very diligent about taking care of their lake and monitoring the lake. It's not any fun to swim in a whole bunch of weeds. Sometimes I'll see on the multiple listing where the agents put the new houses for sale, no lake dues, it's free to live here. And in a way, that's really not a good thing, because if you're not paying lake dues, who's taking care of the quality of the water, or who's taking care of the beach, or who's fixing up the pickleball court? So another really, let's talk about something that one of the number one activities at the lake, fishing. Going fishing, what's that saying? Is that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work, which is sort of funny, but it's true. To go out on your dock and to be able to, my husband always says, to drop a line or to wet a line. If you have your own lake house, it doesn't have to be a big production. If you're like, I have 10 minutes between meetings, you could just go down to your dock and either just throw a line in or get in your boat and go for a quick paddle and, go fishing even for 10 minutes. Or, to that point, being able to enjoy the lake, it doesn't have to be a whole thing. Like if you have a short amount of time, you could go for a quick hike. You could go, walking around the lakes is an activity. And, some lakes you could go all the way around. Some of them you can't. A lot of them you could go all the way around, but there's not road. You actually have to go into the forest. So, I love a good hike, and to be able to hike around the lake is such a fantastic opportunity. So a lot of the lake communities actually back into state forest, or there's state forest close by. The lakes of Bloomingdale, pretty much all of them, you could walk out the door of your house, walk on private lands, the private lake land, and then into Northern Green State Forest. Northern Green State Forest is spectacular. There's waterfalls, there's views of New York City. The trail maps for Northern Green State Forest are right online. It's the New Jersey, New York Trail Conference. So the hiking's extraordinary, but you literally could walk out your door and go hiking for miles and miles. And then if you get sick of hiking that, you could go up into West Milford and go to Waiwayanda, Opshawa, so many awesome hiking opportunities. So within the lakes, it's not just swimming and fishing and boating. There's also the whole sense of community. And, back to our original question, like, hey, I'm into buying a lake house. What would you like to do? Well, maybe I want a place for my grandkids to be able to hang out and enjoy the summer. So many of these lakes have beaches and clubhouses. Some of them have swim camps. I know that in the lake community where I live, a lot of the swim camp is actually made up of not the children of the people that live here, but the grandchildren of the people that live here. And it's multi-generational, and being able to share the lake house with your family, that's such a wonderful lure to adult children, is to say, come to the lake, and to be able to enjoy that lifestyle and to be able to spend time with friends and family at the lake. And we are, right outside of New York City. There's public transportation that comes to many of the lakes in Bloomingdale, West Milford. I think some of the lakes in Ringwood, I'm not sure of the transportation as much there, but you still always could get an Uber, or I'm sure you could find some way of getting there. The buses do go up into West Milford. So it's really a lot about what do you want to do with your lake house. So I would love to show you houses on Greenwood Lake, Lake Hopatcong. They're fantastic. The view is beautiful. There's a lot going on. There's some amazing, one of my favorite restaurants is on Lake Hopatcong, Stonewater. They've got brunch. They've got a big, beautiful fireplace. Up on Greenwood Lake, there's all sorts of different bars. It's a whole big vibe and a whole big scene. But if you're really more into just taking it chill, there's other little lake communities, in Morris County, Passaic County, Sussex County. So if you're interested in learning which lake might be best for you, reach out. I would love to talk to you about it. Jennifer Ellis, thanks for watching.